Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of Washington quarter dollar coins. The coins that millions of Americans have in their pockets, but few realize can actually be worth a lot more than face value. If you've ever wondered whether that quarter in your change could be rare, valuable, or even worth hundreds of dollars, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this video. We'll uncover the hidden secrets, mint errors, and special editions that make some of these quarters truly valuable treasures in American coin history. So don't skip a second, every detail matters. And if you love learning about rare U.S. coins and valuable finds, make sure to subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover coins that could be worth real money sitting right in your collection. Let's get started. First up, the 1985 Washington quarter dollar coin with the P mint mark is one of those coins that most people might overlook in their pocket change. Yet it holds a fascinating story and can be surprisingly valuable depending on its condition and rarity. Today, we're going to talk in depth about the 1985 P Washington quarter, its background, its design, its production details, and, of course, how some of these coins have reached incredible prices at auction. So if you have a 1985 quarter dollar coin with a P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint, you'll definitely want to listen closely, because this coin might just be worth far more than 25 cents. The 1985 Washington quarter is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932, designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse side of the 1985 quarter features the portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Above his head, you'll see the word Liberty, with the date 1985 at the bottom and the phrase, "In God We Trust," to the left. The small P mint mark for Philadelphia is placed right next to Washington's ponytail on the right side of the coin. Now, even though millions of 1985 quarters were minted, over 700 million from the Philadelphia Mint, not all of them are created equal. While most are worth their face value of 25 cents, certain 1985 P Washington quarters can be highly valuable due to minting errors, special die varieties, and exceptional condition. In fact, one of the highest prices ever recorded for a 1985 P quarter was $1,680 at a heritage auction sale, and that was for an example in pristine condition with a stunning strike and flawless surfaces. Imagine finding a coin like that in your loose change or an old coin jar at home. It's incredible to think that a simple 1985 quarter could be worth over $1,000 today. Collectors often underestimate coins from the 1980s because they seem too modern, but the 1985 Washington quarter has characteristics that make it stand out. One major factor that affects the value of the 1985 P quarter is condition. Coins in circulated condition, the kind you find in daily use, typically show wear on Washington's hair and face, dull luster, and surface scratches. But when a coin is uncirculated, meaning it hasn't been used in commerce, the luster is still bright and the details are sharp. In the highest mint state grades, these coins can fetch high prices from collectors who appreciate their exceptional preservation. Another factor that can make a 1985 P quarter valuable is a minting error. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during production, and the U.S. Mint occasionally produces coins with off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and planchet flaws. Collectors love these errors because they are unique and hard to find. For example, a 1985 P quarter with an off-center strike or a broad strike error could sell for anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on how dramatic the error is. Some double die examples, where the lettering or date appears doubled, have also been known to attract strong interest from coin enthusiasts. When talking about the 1985 quarter, it's important to understand its metal composition as well. These coins are made from a copper-nickel clad composition, a layer of copper sandwiched between two layers of nickel. While they do not contain silver, their collector value can far exceed their metal content value when in exceptional condition or with rare errors. The diameter is 24.3 millimeters, and it weighs 5.67 grams, which is standard for post 1965 Washington quarters. Now, the Philadelphia Mint in 1985 produced an estimated 775,818,962 quarters. That's a huge number, which means most 1985p quarters you find will only be worth face value. But coin collectors always seek perfection, and finding one that's perfectly struck, lustrous, and free from marks can be extremely difficult. That's what makes those high-grade coins so desirable, and why the record auction price of $1,680 is such a big deal. It shows that even in a massive mintage year, the highest quality examples can command premium prices. Let's talk a bit more about what makes a 1985p Washington quarter visually appealing to collectors. The obverse portrait of George Washington shows fine details in the hair and cheek area when well struck. On the reverse side, you'll see a majestic bald eagle with its wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing America's readiness for both war and peace. Above the eagle are the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, and below it, quarter dollar. Coins with strong detail in the eagle's feathers and bold, crisp lettering are usually from fresh dies, which can improve their value in the collector market. When examining your 1985p quarter, pay close attention to the surfaces and edges. A coin that shows sharp edges, full luster, and no dullness or discoloration has a better chance of being worth more. Some quarters may also display toning, a natural color change that occurs over time. Attractive rainbow or golden toning can make a 1985 quarter more appealing to collectors, sometimes adding extra value. However, unnatural or dark erosion can hurt the coin's appearance and lower its desirability. While most people think of valuable coins as being old, the 1985 Washington quarter proves that even relatively modern coins can be worth a surprising amount. The key is knowing what to look for: mint marks, errors, luster, and overall eye appeal. Even though billions of Washington quarters were made between the 1960s and 1990s, only a small percentage survive today in flawless condition, especially without scratches, bag marks, or wear. These few survivors are the coins that attract serious collector demand and sell for premium prices. If you have a 1985p quarter, take a closer look at it. Check if the mint mark P is clear and well defined. Look for any doubling in the letters or date, or any unusual shapes around the rim. Small details can make a big difference. For example, an off-center strike that cuts part of a lettering, or a coin with a misaligned die, can turn an ordinary coin into one worth hundreds of dollars. Sometimes, coins struck on the wrong planchet, for instance, a dime planchet, can be extremely valuable, as these rare minting errors are often sought after by serious numismatists. Collectors in the United States and around the world continue to show growing interest in coins from the 1980s, and the 1985p Washington quarter remains one of the key issues from that decade. Its combination of high mintage, modern design, and occasional high-grade rarity make it an interesting and rewarding coin to search for. If you're a new collector, finding a high-quality 1985 quarter could be an exciting first step into coin collecting. If you're an experienced numismatist, tracking down top-condition examples or unusual mint errors could add a valuable piece to your collection. The coin market has shown that even common coins can skyrocket in value under the right conditions. A 1985 Washington quarter might not contain silver, but it carries history, artistry, and potential profit. The record auction price of $1,680 shows that collectors are willing to pay thousands for a coin that represents a combination of perfection and rarity. So, before spending your 1985 quarters, make sure you check them carefully. You might be holding something truly special. The 1985p Washington quarter dollar coin continues to capture the attention of collectors because it bridges the gap between modern circulating coinage and collectible treasures. It serves as a reminder that every coin has a story, every mint mark has meaning, and even the most ordinary change in your pocket might contain hidden value. Whether it's a flawless mint state example or a rare mint error, this coin has proven that the 1985 quarter from the Philadelphia Mint is not one to ignore. Some are worth only 25 cents, but others, like the record-breaking example that sold for $1,680, remind us that true value often hides in plain sight. So, if you come across a 1985 Washington quarter with the P mint mark, hold on to it. Check its condition, examine it carefully, and appreciate its place in American numismatic history. The 1985 Washington quarter is more than just a piece of metal. It's a piece of American heritage that could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Next up, the 1971 Washington $quarter coin with the D mint mark is one of those fascinating coins that often goes unnoticed in daily circulation, yet it holds a surprising story that makes it highly collectible and, in some cases, extremely valuable. Today we're diving deep into the 1971 D Washington quarter, its history, its background, and the hidden value that could be sitting right in your pocket change. Many people think that modern coins from the 1970s can't be worth much, but the 1971 D quarter proves that's not true. Some examples of this coin have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and minting characteristics. One extraordinary example of the 1971 D Washington quarter sold for $4,560 at a heritage auction sale, and that record shows just how valuable this coin can become when it's in exceptional condition. The 1971 Washington quarter is part of a long-running coin series that began in 1932, honoring the first president of the United States, George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse features Washington's left-facing profile with the word Liberty at the top, the date 1971 at the bottom, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," to the left. The mint mark D, which stands for the Denver Mint, is located just to the right of Washington's ponytail. On the reverse side, the coin displays the majestic American bald eagle, wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, surrounded by the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. The 1971 D quarter has a copper-nickel-clad composition, which means it does not contain any silver. It's made of a pure copper core with outer layers of copper-nickel alloy, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter. Even though this composition doesn't contain precious metals, the value of a 1971 D quarter comes from its rarity and condition, minting errors, and collector demand. Over 311 million quarters were struck at the Denver Mint in 1971, so finding one isn't difficult, but finding one in pristine, uncirculated, or high mint state condition is extremely rare. Many collectors search for 1971 Washington quarters that show full detail and luster. A perfectly struck example, known for its sharp eagle feathers and clean surfaces, is a collector's dream. The difference between an average circulated coin and a gem-quality coin can be hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Most 1971 D quarters you'll find in pocket change are worth face value. But if you happen to have a mint state specimen with no scratches, bag marks, or wear, you might have something truly special. In fact, the highest auction record, $4,560, for a superb mint state 67 example, proves that even a modern-era quarter can become a high-value treasure when preserved perfectly. Now, when we talk about what makes a 1971 D Washington quarter valuable, we have to look at era coins and die varieties. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins each year, and mistakes occasionally happen. These minting errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique and visually interesting. For example, some 1971 D quarters have been found with off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets. An off-center 1971 D quarter can sell for $100 or more, depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. A double die obverse, where parts of the lettering or date appear doubled, can fetch several $100s. There are also coins struck on the wrong planchet, such as a quarter struck on a nickel planchet, and these can reach prices well over $1,000 when verified. Another key factor in determining the value of a 1971 D quarter is condition and luster. Circulated coins show wear on Washington's hair, cheeks, and jawline, while uncirculated coins have sharp details and brilliant shine. Coins graded at mint state 65 or higher become exponentially rarer. Collectors pay strong premiums for these coins because so few have survived in such immaculate shape. A quarter that has been kept untouched in a roll or mint set for over 50 years can retain its original brightness. And that's the kind of coin that can bring four-figure prices at auction. The Denver Mint's production quality in 1971 wasn't always consistent. Some dies were used extensively, leading to weak strikes and loss of detail. However, early die strikes, those made with fresh dies, often show sharper features and bolder details, which are more appealing to collectors. The feather lines on the eagle's wings and tail are great indicators of a strong strike. If you see clear, well-defined lines in those areas, it might be a higher quality strike worth setting aside. Another interesting thing about the 1971 D Washington quarter is its place in history. The early 1970s marked a period of transition in U.S. coinage. The mint had recently stopped producing silver quarters after 1964, and the new copper-nickel-clad coins were still relatively fresh to the public. These coins were durable and inexpensive to produce, but they lacked the precious metal content that earlier coins had. Still, collectors embraced them for their design continuity and the challenge of finding perfect examples among billions of circulated pieces. The 1971 D quarter stands as a symbol of that modern era of coin production, common in numbers but scarce in perfection. Some collectors also seek out toned 1971 quarters, where the metal naturally changes color over time due to oxidation. Attractive rainbow or golden toning can actually increase a coin's value. On the other hand, dark or blotchy toning may reduce its appeal. Every detail matters in the collector's market. Even the smallest imperfection or discoloration can change how much someone is willing to pay. Let's not forget the emotional and nostalgic value these coins carry. For many Americans, the Washington quarter is a coin that has been in their pockets for decades, used in vending machines, parking meters, and stores. But among those everyday coins could be a rare gem. The thought that a simple 1971 D quarter could sell for thousands of dollars adds an exciting thrill to coin collecting. And that's why so many people continue to check their pocket change, hoping to find something rare and valuable. The auction record of $4,560 is a perfect example of what's possible when condition and rarity meet. That particular 1971 D quarter stood out because it was in near-perfect mint state condition with exceptional luster and eye appeal. Collectors competed fiercely for it because examples that clean are almost impossible to find after more than 50 years. While not every coin will reach that price, coins with similar quality and brilliance can still bring in hundreds of dollars from serious numismatists. If you're checking your own 1971 D Washington quarters, take a close look under good lighting. Examine Washington's cheek, jawline, and the high points of his hair. Those are the first areas to show wear. Also, look at the eagle's chest and feathers on the reverse side. A sharp, bright strike means a stronger value. If the coin still shines like new, without scratches or dull areas, it could be worth getting examined by experts or kept safely in a holder to preserve its value. Mint errors are another major key to hidden value. Sometimes coins are struck off-center, or they show doubling on the letters or date. Occasionally, coins can be struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime planchet. Those are extremely rare and can sell for thousands. Even small striking differences can make your coin unique and desirable. It's always worth examining your 1971 quarters closely, especially those with the D mint mark, because the Denver Mint has produced several famous era coins over the years. The 1971 D Washington quarter may look like an ordinary coin, but it's a reminder that not all valuable coins are old or made of silver. The real value comes from rarity, condition, and collector demand. Even though more than 300 million of these coins were minted, only a handful survive today in top condition with sharp details and perfect luster. Those are the coins that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for, and those are the coins that make headlines at auctions. So next time you come across a 1971 D Washington quarter, take an extra moment to study it. Check for that D mint mark from Denver, inspect the design carefully, and pay attention to the surfaces. You never know when you might be holding one of those rare, valuable examples that can bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The highest auction record of $4,560 proves that this is not just pocket change. It's a piece of numismatic history that can still surprise collectors today. The 1971 D Washington quarter continues to capture attention across the numismatic world. Its simple yet elegant design, combined with the potential for mint errors and rare high-grade examples, makes it one of the most interesting quarters from the modern era. It serves as a perfect example of how coins from everyday circulation can hold extraordinary value when preserved in the right condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about coins, the 1971 D quarter is one you should always check before spending. Hidden treasures like these remind us that even the most ordinary-looking coins can have stories and values far beyond what meets the eye. Next up, the 1978 Washington quarter-dollar coin with no mint mark is one of those fascinating pieces of American coinage that most people overlook, yet it can actually be quite valuable. Many people handle quarters every single day without realizing that some of them could be worth far more than their face value. The 1978 Washington quarter with no mint mark is one of those coins that might seem ordinary at first glance, but in the right condition, it can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors. In fact, one stunning example of the 1978 no mint mark Washington quarter sold for $2,350 at a Heritage Auctions event, proving that even modern copper-nickel coins can carry serious value when preserved in top condition. Now let's explore what makes this 1978 quarter so interesting. The year 1978 was part of a significant period in U.S. coinage history. The Washington quarter series had been in circulation since 1932, honoring America's first president, George Washington. By 1978, these coins were still made with the same classic design by John Flanagan. On the obverse, or front side, you'll see the left-facing portrait of George Washington. Above his head is the word Liberty. Below his neck is the year 1978. And the famous motto, "In God We Trust," is positioned to the left. Now, what's important about this particular version of the coin is that it has no mint mark. That means it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which, during that period, didn't use a mint mark on quarters. So, if your 1978 Washington quarter doesn't have a letter near Washington's ponytail, that's completely normal. It's from Philadelphia. However, don't let the lack of a mint mark fool you into thinking it's worthless. In pristine condition, this no mint mark 1978 quarter can bring a surprising amount of money. The reverse side of the coin features the classic bald eagle design, the national bird of the United States, with its wings spread majestically. The eagle holds arrows and olive branches, representing strength and peace, with United States of America and E pluribus unum above it and $quarter below. It's a design that has become iconic in American coinage. The 1978 Washington quarter with no mint mark was made of copper-nickel clad composition, not silver. It has a copper core with a nickel coating, giving it that silvery appearance. It weighs 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters across. While the metal itself isn't valuable, what makes certain 1978 quarters valuable are their condition, rarity, and minting errors. In 1978, the Philadelphia Mint produced around 521 million quarters, so finding one isn't hard. But finding a flawless example, in mint state 67 or higher, is extremely rare. Most of the coins from that era went straight into circulation, picking up scratches, wear, and damage along the way. That's why high-grade examples, coins that have never been used and still have their original mint luster, are so valuable today. In fact, that record-breaking $2,350 auction price was for a 1978 quarter graded MS-67 with exceptional eye appeal, brilliant luster, and nearly perfect strike quality. Condition is everything when it comes to determining the 1978 quarter's value. Coins that have been circulated and show wear on Washington's hair, cheeks, and jawline usually remain worth just face value, 25 cents. But if your coin still shines brightly, shows sharp detail in Washington's portrait and the eagle's feathers, and lacks any significant scratches or marks, it could be worth far more. Mint state examples, those that never entered circulation, are what serious collectors are after. Collectors also pay close attention to minting errors and die varieties on 1978 quarters. Even though modern minting processes were highly efficient by that time, mistakes still happened. An off-center strike, where part of the design is missing or misaligned, can make a coin worth anywhere from $50 to several $100s. A double die error, where parts of the date or lettering appear doubled, can be even more valuable. Some 1978 quarters were also struck on the wrong planchet, like a dime planchet, resulting in a smaller, lighter coin. These errors can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The absence of a mint mark sometimes makes collectors curious, thinking it might be an error. But for the 1978 quarter, no mint mark simply means it was minted in Philadelphia, as the Philadelphia Mint didn't use a P mark on quarters until 1980. So, every 1978 quarter without a mint mark belongs to that Philadelphia issue. However, within that large mintage, a very small number of coins were struck with exceptional sharpness, high luster, and flawless surfaces. These are the ones that earn high grades and big prices at auctions. If you want to know whether your 1978 no mint mark Washington quarter might be valuable, start by examining the coin's details carefully. Look closely at the highest points of the design. George Washington's hair, the cheekbone, and the jawline are areas where wear shows first. On the reverse side, the eagle's breast feathers and wing tips should appear crisp and fully struck. The sharper the detail, the better the quality. If your coin still has that original shine, with no dull spots, discoloration, or nicks, you might be holding something special. Toning can also affect a coin's value. Over time, coins can naturally change color due to exposure to air and moisture. Some 1978 quarters develop attractive rainbow or golden toning, and collectors often pay a premium for these naturally toned examples. However, dark, spotty, or artificial toning can lower a coin's desirability. So it's important to recognize the difference between natural aging and damage. Now, let's talk about why the 1978 Washington quarter with no mint mark is considered valuable despite its massive mintage. The reason is that so few high-quality examples exist today. Most 1978 quarters were heavily used, dropped, and scratched in circulation, which makes pristine ones rare. High-grade coins are not only difficult to find but also represent a piece of American history in near-perfect preservation. The record price of $2,350 shows that even modern coins can achieve impressive value when they are exceptional in quality. There's also a growing interest among collectors in coins from the 1970s. Many collectors who grew up using these coins now collect them out of nostalgia, which has increased demand. As more people begin to realize that coins like the 1978 no mint mark quarter can be valuable, the market continues to grow. Coin collecting has become not only a hobby, but also a potential investment, and the 1978 Washington quarter plays an important role in that trend. If you ever come across a 1978 quarter with no mint mark in a coin jar, old change box, or even your pocket, don't spend it just yet. Examine it carefully. Check for full details, original shine, and any possible errors. Even a small difference in condition can turn a coin from worth 25 cents into one worth hundreds of dollars. And if it's a stunning mint state example, like the one that sold for $2,350, then you've got something truly special in your hands. The 1978 Washington quarter with no mint mark stands as a reminder that not all valuable coins are ancient or made of silver or gold. Sometimes, it's the everyday coins from decades past that hold hidden value, waiting to be discovered. This coin represents the artistry of John Flanagan design, the legacy of American coinage, and the thrill of finding treasure in the most unexpected places. Whether you're a beginner or a long-time collector, this is one coin you should always keep an eye out for. The next time you're sorting through quarters, pay attention to the 1978 date and check carefully for that missing mint mark, which actually identifies it as a Philadelphia issue. Look for strong details, bright luster, and clean surfaces. A coin that appears untouched, with crisp features, could be worth much more than you imagine. Even though over 500 million were made, only a few have survived in pristine condition. And that's why the 1978 no mint mark Washington quarter has earned its reputation as one of the valuable modern-era quarters that every collector should know about. So remember, the 1978 Washington quarter dollar coin with no mint mark might seem ordinary, but in the right condition, it's far from it. From a humble face value of 25 cents to a record-breaking $2,350 at auction, this coin proves that hidden treasures can still be found in everyday change. Whether it's a beautifully preserved example or a rare minting error, The 1978 no mint mark Washington quarter deserves a special place in any collection and in the story of America's most enduring coins. Next up, the 1995 Washington quarter dollar coin with the P mint mark is one of those coins that most people might pass by without a second thought, yet it can actually be surprisingly valuable. The 1995 P Washington quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, may look like an ordinary coin you'd find in your change, but certain examples have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. Believe it or not, one exceptional specimen of the 1995 P Washington quarter sold for $1,380 at a heritage auction sale, proving that even coins from the 1990s can hold incredible value when preserved in perfect condition. The Washington quarter series has a long and proud history. It began in 1932, created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, this coin has become one of the most recognizable and beloved designs in American coinage. On the obverse, or front side, you see the left-facing portrait of George Washington, with the word Liberty above, the motto, "In God We Trust," to the left, and the year, 1995, below. Just to the right of Washington's neck, near the ponytail, you'll find a small letter P, the mint mark that shows it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse side features the bold image of the American bald eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of America's readiness for both defense and peace. Above the eagle are the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, while the denomination quarter dollar sits below. This timeless design remained on the Washington quarter until the 50 state quarters program began in 1999. The 1995 P Washington quarter was produced in huge quantities. Over 1.1 billion coins were minted that year in Philadelphia. Because of that large mintage, most examples you see today are worth face value. However, the few that remain in exceptional mint state condition, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, can be worth significant money. That's where rarity meets quality. While billions were made, only a handful survive in nearly flawless, untouched condition, making them extremely desirable to collectors. Let's talk about what makes the 1995 P quarter valuable. First, there's condition and grade. In circulated condition, meaning a coin that has been used in daily transactions, it's typically worth only 25 cents. But in uncirculated condition, or mint state, the value increases dramatically. A 1995 P Washington quarter in MS-65 condition might be worth $10 to $20, while an MS-67 example can fetch hundreds. The coin that sold for $1,380 was graded MS-67 Plus, one of the finest known examples with bright, frosty luster and virtually no marks or wear. That shows just how much collectors will pay for top-quality examples. The 1995 Washington quarter is made of copper-nickel clad composition, not silver. It has a pure copper core sandwiched between two layers of copper-nickel alloy, giving it a silvery appearance but no intrinsic metal value. It weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, the same as other modern quarters minted since 1965. What gives the 1995 P quarter its collector value isn't what it's made of, but how rare high-grade examples are after decades of circulation. Now let's explore another major factor that can make a 1995 P Washington quarter valuable: mint errors. Even though minting technology was very advanced by the 1990s, mistakes still occurred. These mint errors are highly collectible because they're rare and unique. Examples include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or misaligned, double die errors, where the lettering or date appears doubled, and clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is cut off. A 1995 P quarter with a dramatic off-center strike could sell for $100 or more. A well-defined double die could easily reach several $100s, and coins struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime or nickel planchet, can fetch thousands at auction. Collectors love these errors because they show the quirks of the minting process and add uniqueness to the coin. Some 1995 P quarters have also been found with die cracks, which look like raised lines or breaks on the surface. While minor die cracks may not add much value, Larger or more visible ones can increase collector interest and boost the price. Another factor that drives value is strike quality and luster. The best examples have full detail in Washington's hair and on the eagle's feathers. Coins with weak strikes, dull surfaces, or bag marks will sell for less. But those with bright, mirror-like luster, strong detail, and clean surfaces can bring impressive prices. The difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth over $1,000 often comes down to these small visual qualities. It's also interesting to note that by 1995, the Philadelphia Mint was still not using the P mint mark on pennies, but had long used it on quarters. So, the P on your 1995 quarter firmly identifies it as a Philadelphia coin. No mint mark confusion here. It's a standard issue from that facility, but that doesn't mean it's ordinary. In fact, collectors have grown more interested in coins from the 1980s and 1990s because they represent an era that many people remember vividly, and those coins are now over 30 years old. The market for modern Washington quarters is growing as collectors hunt for pristine examples from common years. Coins like the 1995 P quarter are particularly popular because they're part of the last years before the state quarters program began in 1999. That gives them historical significance. They represent the final stretch of the classic eagle bag design. And with so many people collecting state quarters, attention has turned back to finding high-quality examples from the late 20th century. If you have a 1995 P quarter, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look for that P mint mark beside Washington's ponytail. Then check the overall condition. Does it still have that bright, original shine? Can you see clear lines in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers? Are there any unusual marks, doubling, or striking errors? Even small differences can mean big changes in value. A slightly off-center coin, or one with full sharp detail, can be worth many times its face value. Also, keep an eye out for proof-like surfaces occasionally. A few business strike coins appear with unusually reflective fields that make them stand out. While they're not true proof coins, their mirror-like luster can make them highly desirable to collectors. And any coin with unique toning, such as golden, blue, or rainbow hues, can attract a premium, especially if the toning is natural and visually appealing. The 1995 Washington quarter with the P mint mark is more than just pocket change. It's part of a larger story about American coinage, artistry, and the pursuit of perfection. It represents the precision of modern minting and the passion of collectors who seek out the finest examples. It's also a great reminder that valuable coins aren't always old or made of precious metals. Sometimes it's the high-quality, modern coins that turn out to be hidden treasures. The record auction price of $1,380 proves that condition is king. Among over 1 billion coins minted, only a handful were preserved well enough to earn that kind of value. That's why collectors continue to search through rolls of 1995 quarters, hoping to find that one coin that stands above the rest. The perfect strike, the brilliant luster, the coin that looks like it just left the mint. So, the next time you're looking through your loose change, pay attention to any 1995 quarters with the P mint mark. Take a closer look at the details, the shine, and the overall quality. You might be holding something that's not just a simple quarter, but a collectible piece of history worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The 1995 P Washington quarter reminds us that every coin has potential. It might be easy to overlook, but with patience and a careful eye, anyone can discover a valuable piece hiding in plain sight. This coin, with its timeless design and record price of $1,380, continues to prove that treasures can still be found in the most ordinary of places. Whether you're new to collecting or have been searching coins for years, this is one Washington quarter you'll definitely want to watch for, because it might just be worth a lot more than 25 cents.